famous vivamus comicdom, ancient ones. I don't know what we're calling people. We're not talking Epicureans here. This is the BCE Comics Pod Fanfare episode. I'm your host, Nick Smith, and I'm joined by...
Stojr from Stojr Shelf. How's it going, Nick?
I am doing fairly well. I don't know, Stojr, we've been talking before we actually started the show here, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm carrying a real mug. I can kind of walk.
Look at that.
Yeah. I guess the lore for our podcast, in December, I fractured my fibula. I've been in a boot ever since. The boot came off this Monday. I still have a brace on my foot, and I still cannot walk very well, and I wouldn't trust myself to lift heavy things, but I'm slowly healing.
I mean, things get violent on this podcast, and it's, apparently you won't disagree with my opinions anymore, but I'm glad you're healing up.
Well, I had to be put in my place. It is true. How are you doing, Stojr? How are things?
Not too bad. We just finished the birthday cavalcade at my house. So my wife's birthday is at the end of September. My son at the end of November. My other son at the beginning of January. I'm at the end of January, and my daughter was last week. She turned 7, and we had her birthday party yesterday with the family and her friends. So my wife is breathing a sigh of relief that she doesn't have to plan anything for another 6 months or so.
Wow.
So that is a plus.
You really are just one hit after another there, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, this show is just kind of our chat show, just to have fun, talk about things, talk about our comic hauls, other things going on. Should we just start with our? I originally had a thought of maybe we should do the hauls at the end, but I didn't change the slides to reflect that. So, Stojr, should we get into yours?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, we were trying to figure out ways to speed this up a little bit because there was a lot of sales, a lot of deals, some things that came out in the month of January and in February that I was able to pick up. So I'm going to just kind of go through this screenshot here as opposed to kind of fishing them out and holding them up. So the first one in the top left is Spider-Man: The Next Chapter, Volume 3. So that's kind of a hard to find volume. It covers that time period towards the end of John Byrne's era, writing Spider-Man in the 2000s. And I think that closes off his era. So there's another hard to find book that's right after this, and then you would start off Modern Epics. So this would be, if they just do complete reskins, this would be the second to last classic Spider-Man epic, assuming that they don't change mappings and flip everything all around. So that's what that is. The first Batman DC Finest came in, and that was in the month of January towards the end. So I picked up that. Those things are super cheap. The next thing that you see here are 3 Black Panther books. So I had ordered myself after our last Fanfare, and I pointed out that I didn't have the Reggie Hudlin Black Panther. So I ordered it, and Amazon said that it was going to take about a month, and I was like, well, it's fine, whatever. And I got it at a decent price. And then I had my birthday, and I opened up my birthday gift, and my wife got it for me. And I was very thankful for that. And then I immediately went on Amazon and canceled my order so that I didn't get the same thing that I had just gotten for my birthday. And then this month, just last week, a week or two ago, the second Black Panther omnibus was released, and I was able to get the direct market cover. Usually I don't care too much about the different covers because they're up on the bookshelf, but this one has a really good Jack Kirby cover, and that book covers Black Panther from 1977 to 1997-ish or something like that. So a lot of like Marvel fanfare in there, a lot of various series, but basically takes you up to the Christopher Priest era of Black Panther. And with that, I actually have all of Black Panther up on my shelf now,
Nice.
from 1962 or whatever it is, I forget the exact year, all the way through 2022. With very little exceptions. And one of those exceptions was when he filled in for Daredevil for 15 or 20 issues, and they kept the Daredevil numbering. And when I realized that, I went on eBay and ordered the next book on the list, which was because I found it used for like $10. So I was like, well, now I just have to get it. And that's a complete collection of Black Panther: The Man Without Fear. So that's that kind of covers off all of Black Panther, and I got to do one of these read throughs one of these days and kind of go end to end on that. Um, the next thing is I started to expand some of the Captain America books. Some of these I got with buy two get one free or buy one get one 50% off. So both Target and Amazon had sales in the last month or so. The Swine has a lot of Jack Kirby art in it, so I was excited to see that. And then the I don't actually remember the Superior Stratagem volume, which is the Thor and Captain America one next to that. Those again super cheap. Like it was like $22, and then there was probably a discount on top of that. So anytime I can get an Epic collection for $25 or less with shipping, you just kind of have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Your convincing has forced me to pick up some Conan. I
By
don't actually
Crom. All right.
have this.
Sorry, I cut you off. What'd you say?
Yeah, I said I don't physically have this yet, but this is one of the ones that's in the mail. But I was able to get these for less than $20 each in an eBay sale.
Nice.
So I think I won the auction at $12 each, and it was like $7 shipping, and then they threw in some combined shipping after the fact. So relatively cheap.
I think those are the last
Moving on.
two volumes, right? So you're missing the early ones.
You know what? It's hard to tell because I'm not up on Conan, and I know there's multiple. Isn't there two different series like Conan Chronicles and Conan
Yeah,
that are collected?
and those are the ones you have there are the original Marvel ones, and the original Marvel series went for a lot longer than what got collected in Epics, but the Epics got cut short because Marvel lost the license. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I'm checking my PLZ app while we're talking here. So this is volume. No, these are volume 3 and volume 5
oh, okay, all
of
right. And
and the Barbarian. Go ahead.
I think there's 6 in total that Marvel came out with. I mean, today, if you really wanted to get all of them, Titan is putting out omnibuses, omnis, omnibi. Um, that would probably be the way to do it now. And boy, do I want to, but there's so many. They come out so quickly, and they're so expensive. And I want a paperback, personally. But anyway, keep going,
Yeah,
Soldier.
but I think Marvel did put out at least a couple of the Conan Chronicles because there's one. And there's like Conan the Avenger. I don't know if what that has it as a label at, but it collects like Conan the Avenger, like 16 issues. So
That might have been when Marvel got the license again, but it wasn't an Epic one, I don't think.
yeah, I'll send it to you offline, and you can
Okay,
tell me what it is.
sure.
Because I didn't. It's like on my watch list on eBay. I didn't actually bid on it yet. So anyway, so I got some Conan coming my way. Moving on to Daredevil, I was able to pick up Volume 2, Mike Murdock Must Die. But while I was out there, I got a little impatient and I saw a sale for these Marvel Knights Daredevil thick or not. They're probably not super thick, but they're probably not super thin either trades. And basically, they're the contents of the Epic Collection Volume 1 that hasn't been, or the Modern Epic Volume 1 that haven't been released yet. So this is the Kevin Smith stuff. It covers a little bit more, so it's it jumps around like one of the volumes. There's 3 books there. One of them has like the Echo stuff, so it kind of jumps from whatever number it was, like 22 to something, and then 48 to 50, where when David Mack did something a little bit later on. So this would be perfect if you had the complete collections by Bendis, because the Bendis complete collections only had the Bendis written issues and they skipped books, whereas the modern epics just take things in order. So obviously these will be replaced by the modern epic volume 1, and when that gets announced, everyone can thank me, because the only reason it'll get announced is because I bought this. So my Daredevil shelf now will take me, well, for the modern epics at least, I'll say, it'll take me all the way up, almost 100 issues, I think, because when we get that next volume released this month, that's going to finish off the Bendis era. So, and that takes us pretty close to issue 100. Hawkeye Modern Epic, or I'm sorry, Hawkeye Classic Epic, I should say. This came out in, I think, December, but I didn't pick it up till recently. Got it on sale, as well as on one of those, buy one, get one type of sales. I forget which book I bundled this with. So I am now done with Hawkeye. I have Hawkeye's classics and moderns, as well as the complete collection, which is the saga of Barton and Bishop. So that's the more modern stuff that the TV show, the movie would be more based off of, things like that. You pointed out Reddit post on eBay. Somebody was selling some Hulk books, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
I don't normally shop on Reddit. I've been sort of Facebook and eBay on the used front, and I was able to get these for less than cover price. So I didn't overpay for any of them, but got volume. What is that? Volume 6. Yeah, volume 6, Crisis on Counter Earth. This is right before Sal takes over, so he takes over in volume 7, and we're going to be reviewing volume 8 of that, and then the volume 13, which is Crossroads, towards the end of Sal's run, and then volume 14, which is the Going Gray, the red kind of cover there with She-Hulk on it, and that covers John Byrne's era of that. And then there's some Iron Man, the sort of Golden Avenger there, sort of fleshing out that shelf for me to do a full run of Iron Man. So the first 3 books are the first 3 Omnis, which cover the first 5 epics. So by getting these 3 Omnis for about $32 each on eBay with shipping, that now means those out of print 5 epic collections I can skip. And you can see these right behind me on the shelf here. It's these 3 right here. So it covers all of the, what is it? Is it Tales of Suspense?
Ooh. Yeah, I think you're right. Tales of Suspense, I think.
Because there's Tales to Suspense and Tales to Astonish or something like that.
And Tales to Astonish, I think, is the one that had Namor and the Hulk in it. And Tales of Suspense, you're right, Cap and Iron Man. I think that's right.
Yep. So Tales of Suspense, and it's only gonna, if that book was, if I remember correctly, if it's like half Cap, half Iron Man, it obviously only carries the Iron Man half.
Yep.
It's not the whole thing in here. So yeah, that covers Tales of Suspense 39 through 99, and then Iron Man volume 1, issue 1, all the way up through 67. And then I have the next 2 epics that go past that. So that gives me Iron Man all the way up through 100 and something. I forget the exact number. So yeah, fleshing that out. Along that front, I picked up 2 epics for Iron Man. One of them was the one I flashed up here before. That was for that was my Christmas gift, but I finally in stock trade finally shipped it to my sister-in-law, and I no longer have to hold up a little piece of paper. I now have the actual book as of yesterday because I was able to meet up with her. And then somewhere along the lines on one of those sales, I picked up that Iron Man War Machine 1. That actually has some of the issues that I actually own of singles of Iron Man from the early 90s. And I'm kind of interested in that era. We'll talk more about that with the reprint poll because that's what I'm most attached to. This stuff kind of feels like more of like a historical, like diving into the 80s, early 90s, and almost like a little time capsule I'm reading. But I'm actually a little bit more interested in around that era to a little bit later, towards the late 90s. I finished off the Deadpool and Spider-Man volume. Again, on one of these sales. So that's volume 3 of Spider-Man Daredevil series. They went up to about issue 50, plus or minus. I forget the exact number. And that's a 3-volume modern epic. And now I own them all. So I can read that straight through. And then I was only going to get this on sales because there's a lot of double dipping. But Venom, the Planet of the Symbiotes. So I now have that, as well as I started to pick up the Young Avengers because I'm actually looking forward to getting the Children's Crusade that was released last week. And this has the volume I picked up here, The Dark Reign, has a bunch of like mini series in it. So people feel like it's a little bit disjointed because what happened back then was the writer and the artist were kind of having trouble getting together. They had other projects and stuff like that. So they came back together for the Children's Crusade after the sort of introductory stuff. Well, this was like the time period in between. So these miniseries all kind of tie into the events that you and I have talked about in the past. Like, so there's like a Siege one, and there's a Secret Invasion one, and a Civil War one, and things like that. And they couple them up with the Runaways there. Mm-hmm. So that's everything I got. How about you?
Yeah, quite the haul there, Stoger. Yeah, I've got quite the haul as well. Although, again, to speed things up, I'm just gonna skip all the recent releases. You guys know I'm getting all the epics because I'm a sicko, with the exception of the Star Wars stuff. So I'm leaving that off. I'll let's see, non-epic stuff. I too got the Batman DC's Finest, essentially the first volume. I'm excited about this because I've read the earliest Superman stuff before, and I have the first superhero Finest. I've never read the earliest Batman stuff. I mean, who didn't read Action Comics at one point or another? If you got into comic books, there's plenty of reprints out there. I know I've read that plenty of times, and other early Superman stuff. So excited about that. And speaking of early stuff, I decided to dip my toes into some of Fantagraphics' Atlas Comics library. I'm not going to go with all of these things, but the ones that I find interesting. This one is The Days of the Rockets, so sci-fi stuff. And I mean, just look at that cover. That's really neat. This is not... the art has not been restored in this, so it's a little grainy, it's a little pixelated, but you know what? That's fine. It's Golden Age Marvel before it was Marvel. And then what might not seem to be on the same level, but actually is, Venus Volume 2. Venus, my understanding, started as kind of more like a aimed towards girls. It's about Venus herself, but then it got weird. And so this is the weird volume. I've never read any of these things, but I do like the kind of classic sci-fi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the non-epics. Here's my list of the epic collections that I'm still trying to collect to wrap everything up. As for what I managed to track down this month, I mentioned last time on this show that I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to add Aliens and Planet of the Apes to the list. I was going to ignore these, but I decided, what the heck. Probably because I have everything the in-stock trade has to offer except for these, and so I said, I've gotta feed the addiction, right? I knew Planet of the Apes was thin, but boy, it is super thin, particularly...
Yeah.
Well,
They had an omnibus of that at Ollie's that I almost picked up, but it's like super thin. So it's basically probably the same exact contents, just in hardcover and oversized.
yeah, probably. Now, I guess technically this is Planet of the Apes Adventures. I know nothing about this. The only Planet of the Apes movie I ever saw was the one that had Marky Mark in it, and I don't even remember it that well because I saw it in the theater.
So
Yes.
I'm going to give you a movie recommendation now. So you need to go watch, if that's the only one you saw, obviously people will tell you have to go watch the classic.
Right, sure.
I think I've seen parts of the classic one. I don't know if I've ever sat through it. It's very old, and it's a product of its time. But the modern trilogy, the first one has James Franco in it, and it's what is it? War for the Planet of the Apes. So, I forget what they're called, but whatever that modern trilogy is that came out after the Marky Mark one, those are really good. And there's like time jumps in between the movies, right? So like the first one is like the fall of everything. The second one is like the ape society and stuff like that. And then the third one is like a generation or two later or something along those lines. And they all follow Caesar, which is Andy Serkis, the guy who did the Gollum and the Lord of the Rings, does that character all the way throughout all of those. So they're really solid movies, actually.
Well, maybe at some point I can get around them. I'm at the stage in my life where if I'm watching a movie, typically it's going to be with my wife, and so I have to find things that will appeal to her or I can convince her of. I may not be able to convince her of Planet of the Apes, to be honest.
Definitely not the '60s one or the '70s, whatever year it came out. You might be able to convince her of the more modern one, but not the '60s one.
You don't know my wife. And don't get me wrong, I love my wife. She's lovely. She's brilliant. She's hilarious. She's particular about some things. But I'm also a school teacher. I have summers off. I could always sneak and do things, but I'd rather read comics, honestly. I guess on the same vein, I got 2 Aliens epics, Volume 1, Volume 3. I did not realize that Volume 2 was out of print and hard to find, but I actually just pulled the trigger on Volume 2 off of eBay the other day, and we've already talked, I've never read Aliens, I don't really know anything about this, so there's a part of me that's kind of interested of going in blind on the comics and see what I think about it, and then maybe trying to check out the movies. I'm going to experiment on myself.
No, you have to let us know, because I have no idea what the comics are about. I've never collected any of those. I don't know if there's, if it ties into the movie or if it's just set in that universe or what it is. So
Yeah, I have no clue. And that's really been it. Other than the recent stuff coming out, those are my only back issues. So I can definitively cross off Planet of the Apes because there's only one volume of that in the Epic collection, and two of those Aliens ones. But I still have a decent little chunk there of Epics to go of the past issues. So. Sorry, I'm looking at the of the newer ones that came out and wondering if there's any that's worth highlighting. Always like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite, so I'm glad to have more of that. But otherwise, it's stuff I'll read at some point.
did you happen to get the Young Avengers Volume 3 came out?
I did. I don't have it in my newly arrived stat because I think it's is it out already or is it coming?
I think it came out last week. So as I said that, I remembered that you get the monthly shipment, so you wouldn't have it yet.
Yeah, if it just came out last week, then not yet.
Yeah, somebody had said that it was kind of thin, so I was just curious about how thin it was. But it has that Children's Crusade mini series. Great art in that. It's got an issue of Uncanny X-Men because it kind of springs off from there. Mm-hmm. It's got connective tissue to the X-Men. Because at least at the time, you had, Wanda being Magneto's daughter, and then for Young Avengers, you have two characters that are her kids. So
they're one. Oh, yeah, okay. I think I remember.
Wiccan and Speed are supposed to be her kids, and then so they'd be Magneto's grandchildren, and that's the connective tissue. Magneto's on the X-Men at that point in time. Shortly after the Utopia crossover that we read through, because Magneto kind of joins the X-Men formally around that time, right. And then whether it's I think it's 20 issues later or something like that, so it's somewhere in that neighborhood. But that kicks off the Children's Crusade crossover. Yeah. So
I remember when Young Avengers first came out, I heavily rolled my eyes and like, really, we're doing the baby Avengers? This is clearly a cash grab. This sounds so stupid, and I ignored it. And then it got to the point where people were praising it so much, it's like, I really can't ignore this. So I bought the trade paperback of, I think, the first 12 issues, which might be what the first Epic collection is anyway, and it was good. I remember it. Okay, this isn't just baby Avengers. There's a worthwhile story here. It was interesting. But I don't think I collected.
They were doing it in the MCU, and it just feels like they're wasting time. Like they're not pulling the trigger on it. They've established most of the Young Avengers in one way, shape, or form. They just need to make the movie now. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Anyway, I haven't read any of the rest of the Young Avengers other than that first trade paperback. There's only so much time and money that I want to plunk down on the monthly floppies, and I don't even know if they have a monthly book anymore.
They never. I don't think they ever really had a monthly book. There might have been something like some sort of revival series, like that they came out with maybe around the time of Secret Wars or something like that. But no, like these are all miniseries. Obviously, I said Volume 2 is a collection of miniseries, and then the Children's Crusade was a miniseries. I said crossover earlier by accident, but it was just a miniseries. I think it was 9 issues or something like that. And then that's it. It's just their guest appearances in different things or miniseries. Eventually, I think they do have an ongoing, but it doesn't last very long. So. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is it for our haul. Stojr, should we talk about what's coming out next month in March?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me pull this up so it's a little easier for me to see here. All right, here are the releases for March 3rd, and actually I've got a second page for this. I'll rattle these off, and then Stoger, you give me the one that you're very interested in. So we've got Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, Omnibus Volume 1, Conan the Adventurer, the original comic years, Omnibus Volume 1, Earth 2, the New 52 Omnibus Volume 1, Thor Epic Collection, The Surtur War, X Factor, Original X-Men Volume Omnibus Volume 2, and X-Men Collection, Lonely Earth Hunted, a reprinting of that one. That's the second X-Men Epic Collection. And then I guess technically on March 4th, we've got Conan the Barbarian, the original comics Omnibus Volume 7 by Titan. All right, Stoger, which one of these are you really excited to be picking up?
None. So I'm not picking up any of these.
Not even the
I
Thor?
own all what's that?
Not even the Thor?
No, because I own the omnibus.
Oh.
So maybe I'll pick that up one day and I'll break my rule about the double dipping here, but I don't mind having the epics and omnis combined. Now, this might contain one issue that I am missing because there was an issue that wasn't by Simonson. I forget if it's in this epic or the next one that the omnibus skips. This does not have the recolored art as I remember. So if people are big on that, but I actually like the recolored art. So I don't know. So I might get this if I catch it on sale because it would be different with that recoloring. But like the John Byrne version that came out last month, like for Fantastic Four, like I have those Omnis, so I'm not going to pick those up unless I just stumble upon a sale. I have all that Zeb Wells Spider-Man in single issues. If I'm going to do anything there, I'm going to custom bind. I'm not collecting X Factor in omnibus format. I'm getting the epics, so don't need that. I already have the Lonely or the Hunted. So, what about you?
So again, I'm getting all the epics, so we don't have to worry about that. Lonely or the Hunted. You guys can thank me for getting a reprint on that one. I dropped a ridiculous amount of money to grab that one, and then the reprint got announced like the following week. So you're welcome. I'm excited about the Thor one, but of course I'm going to get that anyway. I think of the non-epics, I might actually consider getting Conan the Adventurer, the original comics omnibus. This is a one and done omni, and I've been hesitant to pick up any of the Conan omnis that Titan is putting out just because, again, there's so many, they're so expensive, and I would rather wait for a trade paperback and hope that they do that. This is a weird one, though, because this is like a television show tie-in, like they're trying to promote some TV show that I don't really know much about, and I think it's geared towards kids, actually, like it's a kid's book. So I don't know if we're ever going to see this reprinted again. So there's a part of me that's thinking maybe I grab that.
I'll make one other comment. That Earth 2 omnibus, although it's not my cup of tea, I'm not interested. It's a new 52 thing. If somebody is like interested in just like a bottle story in the sense that like you don't have to know a lot going into it, and you're going to get everything self-contained in this book, like that's the book to pick up, because obviously they kicked off everything with the new 52, so everything's new there. Not only that, it's on Earth 2, so it's like it's its own story over there by itself. I don't know how many volumes this would be, but I know the Earth 2 stuff didn't go on forever, so it might be just two omnibuses, and then you'd have like a complete story arc for or probably multiple story arcs, but you'd have everything to do with Earth 2 for the new 52.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's continue on with March 10 releases. A little light one here. We've got Avengers, No Surrender, No Road Home Omnibus. We have, got weird things going on my screen. Okay, we have Catwoman, the New 52 Omnibus Volume 1, and Punisher Epic Collection Survival. All right, any one of these stand out to you, Stoger?
So I have not jumped into the Punisher stuff, so I am skipping away from that. But the Avengers one interests me, but I don't think I'm going to get it. It interests me because if I'm going to get everything up on my shelf for Avengers, this covers like 675 to 690 in that No Surrender story arc. But I already have that as it's off camera, but I already have that as a oversized hardcover. It just doesn't have the No Road Home part, but the No Road Home part was like a well, it doesn't have that, and it doesn't have the Quicksilver thing, but that's all like a mini series. So I don't know if the completist in me needs to go pick up a $100 book just for that mini series. So that's the one that interests me. The Punisher would interest me too if I was collecting it, but I know how out of print and um, how Marvel hasn't been reprinting Punisher. So I'm almost like keeping that at arm's length because I know I'm never going to find the rest of them. What are you getting?
Well, and if we never buy the Punisher volumes, then they're never going to reprint any of the older ones. Sorry.
Politics involved with that of, they put the character on ice for a while.
Yeah, no, not trying to shame you there, Stojr. Again, my interest is in paperbacks. I had no interest in Catwoman. The Avengers stuff, if it comes out in Epics, I'll grab it. So for me, the Punisher one, and I haven't really read a whole lot of Punisher. I know I read a little bit when I was a kid, and I don't have a huge affinity for the Punisher. But I'm okay. I'm okay to pick that up. I really want to read that Spider-Man Punisher Sabretooth Designer Jeans issue. That sounds like it would be fascinating, and that I wouldn't fall asleep to it at all.
I actually enjoy Punisher, but more from the 2000s forward. So I picked up like the Marvel Knights Punisher as single issues, and I actually have the Punisher's had so many different volumes that I can't keep track of them. They're in my CLZ app, but I think I have all of the single issues for like volume, I don't know, whatever it is, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the Punisher, and there's probably been 10 or 12 different volumes because he keeps getting new number ones. So I have a long box of Punisher comics downstairs that I could custom bind with only a few gaps in it, but not from this era, not from the late 80s, early 90s, and things like that. So that art on that cover does not do it for me either. So
his muscles have muscles.
Yeah, I think that's like '90s Herb Trimpe or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea who the artist is, but that definitely screams '90s. All right, how about March 17th? We've got 4 books coming out: Elseworlds Batman Omnibus Volume 1, Star Wars Legends: The Empire Omnibus Volume 4, Ultimate Spider-Man Epic Collection Hunted, I think that's Volume 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man, and then X-Men Road to Onslaught Omnibus Volume 2.
So I'm not picking any of these up again. So March is going to be a cheap month for me, it looks like. Although I'll probably just spend my time finding gaps and sales and things like that. So I would highly recommend the Ultimate Spider-Man. I have all of that in the oversized hardcovers as well as the single issues. So if anybody's on the fence of that, that's great. The only downside to that is that they're just reskinning the other books. So these are really thin, which is kind of disappointing. There's, 12 or so issues in there, 13, something like that. Yeah. So really thin epic collections there. I already own, I think, all of the Road to Onslaught stuff. I'd have to kind of like look at that omnibus and compare it to the thick trades that I have for X-Men at that era. But I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, like miniseries and things like that. But I'll just wait out the epics because I have the core content for that era. I just don't have those extras, and eventually they'll come to epic collections.
Yeah, I'm curious about the X-Men Road to Onslaught Omnibus, but, again, I'd rather it in trade paperback. So the Ultimate Spider-Man, I really enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man, particularly those early ones. So what you're saying there, Stojr, by not saying anything, is they exist in paperbacks.
Yeah. So these are, I have the 3 thick trades of the Road to Onslaught. I forgot that there was 3, but it makes sense for the omnibus. And, I'd have to compare it to that content to see if these all exist. So you might still be able to find these. Like these weren't super hard to find. Mm-hmm. And unless there's some mapping issues or some things that are completely off, I would imagine that when the epics get there, they'll just reskin these.
I'll need to complete my Apocalypse Age of Apocalypse complete collection first. I only have 2 volumes of that. I need to get the other ones. Then maybe I can consider that.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue on. March 24th. Again, only 4 books. We've got Black Widow and Captain America by Wade and Samney Omnibus. We have the New Teen Titans Omnibus Volume 2, but the 2026 edition. The Avengers Omnibus Volume 6, and Thunderbolts Epic Collection Redemption.
I'm picking up Thunderbolts. That's the one must buy that we've hit so far for me. Very interested in the Cap Omni. I'm doing a lot of custom binds with Cap at some point in the future, so I'm not picking that up. But I do like the fact that they put that gap filler in. They combined it with the Black Widow issues so that they would get an omnibus out of it, and that they made that available for people. And for those collecting Omnis for Avengers, it's great that Volume 6 is out. So, I mean, this is a strong week. Like, George Perez, Teen Titans, an omnibus here for the Avengers. But yeah, I'm picking up Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Definitely picking up Thunderbolts just because it's an epic. I'm curious about the Black Widow and Captain America book there. I like the art style that we see on the cover there. It's kind of a modern throwback to sort of the 60s style. So that looks neat. I'm curious. So I might consider it, but again, I'm probably going to wait for a trade paperback, an epic instead.
Yeah, Chris Sammy did Daredevil too. So with Mark Waid. So those are he will. I'm trying to think. So we're up to like I'm trying to remember the artist, the writer name, but like we're up to like almost the Shadowland era of Daredevil. So after that ends, the next modern epics should be Mark Waid, and Chris doesn't. I don't think he starts off with Wade, or maybe he does. But there's 2 omnis for Mark Waid on Daredevil, and at least the second one is Wade and Sammy. So he does he does some Daredevil art as well as the Cap during this era, and I think I have those single issues down in the basement.
All right, awesome. And then I think this is our last week for March. We're going to get to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Omnibus, Avengers Epic Collection Absolute Vision, Batman the Golden Age Omnibus Volume 3, a new edition of that, and then X-Men Age of Krakoa, Dawn of X Omnibus Volume 2, which is a bit of a mouthful, but Stojr, wait, let me guess. Age of Krakoa for you.
And here's where my wallet takes a hit. I'm getting the Age of Krakoa omnibus as well as that Avengers book. The Avengers book is we need one more volume to give us a pretty full run after this of Avengers, all the way up to I think volume 27, if I remember correctly. So you need 14 and 15, and this is giving us volume 14, I think. I'm trying to bring up my notes here. Yeah, this is volume 14. And so we still are waiting on an announcement for volume 15. Once that occurs, we will have Avengers straight through to volume 27. So that'll give you 1963 all the way up to 1995. And then I have up on the shelf all the way up through the early 2000s because I have the omnibuses that pick up where the epics leave off, as well as jumping into the modern epics. So this is exciting to almost get the Avengers fully fleshed out there.
Yep. Yeah, no, agreed. I'm excited that for the epics we're getting to a point where a lot of these lines are getting close to completion. Although that's got to be tough for anybody new coming into this game because of how limited the re-releases, the reprints have been. Because I know that there's 2 Avenger books on my list that I have not pulled the trigger on yet because they're out of print and the secondary market is very expensive for those. So I'm hesitant to do it. But
I'm a little surprised with that Dawn of X omnibus that they went with that cover. I think it's a fun, cool cover, but at the same time, the previous omnibus, spoilers, but it's not for this book; it's for the previous one, ended with Kitty dead. So putting her on the cover of the volume 2, like it literally ended on a cliffhanger. And while you might be thinking, having not read it but knowing some information, that can all the X-Men resurrect themselves? No, part of the hook with Kitty was that she can't go on the island. She can only sail to the island. She can't go through the gates. So there's something weird with Kitty's physiology. So there's no guarantee that she can be resurrected. and they don't even know where her body is, or maybe they do. I forget. But yeah, putting her on the cover when the cliffhanger was her dead was kind of weird. So
Yeah, I did mean to ask, is that Kitty there? Because I mean, Lockheed on her shoulder kind of gives it away, I guess. But that is not the vibe that I get from Kitty Pryde. At least not where we are currently, as we're reading through the Claremont era. I guess she got a little edgy after the Kitty Pryde Wolverine miniseries, but still, that's
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the edginess that you're seeing here is like her rebelling about the fact that like she's a little pissed off that she's like pushed off on the side, right? In the sense that there's no explanation why she can't go through the gates. Everybody's enjoying Krakoa. She's kind of not on the island because of that. And she's sailing and drinking. She's basically the Kitty the pirate right now. So
all right. Well, I think that is it for March releases. Stoger, we planned on, there was recently Curtis Finley and Omar of Near Mint Condition had their show where they were giving out the new Epic collections that are coming out in November of December next year next year or this year?
no, this year.
This year,
So
that's right, 2026.
wait, you're talking about the yeah. So the early read, it's before solicitations, is November to December. It used to be that they would do through January, like they do a 3 month chunk, but Marvel and DC both align that separately, but coincidentally, that they're adjusting those windows. So now it's only till the end of the year, and then we'll get a new one for January and February of next year.
Right. So, we started this show as purely an Epic collection show and have decided to expand a little bit. But the interest, of course, is still in the Epic. So we thought we would go through the Epic collections that are coming out this year, just month by month, because we now have the full year release schedule known to us. Although there might be the possibility for some reprints that might sneak in there. So I'm going to take this as kind of the same way we've done the releases coming up next month. We'll just take these. I've got a list. I don't have pictures for this one because it was a little too much work to put that together. But we'll just talk about them and pick out kind of like our number one choice here. Okay, sound good?
Yeah. I think we'll call this segment "Why My Kids Are Going to Have to Go to State Schools." So.
Or I guess for me, why I don't have kids. No, that's unfair. There's other reasons for that, but we don't need to get into that. Let's see. One caveat here. The way I pulled this list together is I went to the Marvel Epic Collection wiki page. Whoever does the Wikipedia page for Marvel Epic Collections, or a collection of people who do that, do an excellent job. It really is kind of the best resource. I tell my students, avoid Wikipedia because you never know if it's going to be right or not. But this one is being curated by a good group of people, whomever they are. So my thank you to that. Having said that, though, they keep a running list of upcoming issues, and January's already been deleted for this year because we're past January. So, and I guess since we're past January, we don't need to talk about January. So we're just going to jump into this month, February. So here's what came out this month. We got Fantastic Four Epic Collection 13, Back to Basics, Young Avengers Modern Era Epic number 3, The Children's Crusade, Micronauts Epic Volume 4, The Long and Winding Road, a reprint of X-Men Epic Collection 2, Lonely Are the Hunted, and then Daredevil Modern Era Epic number 5, The Murdoch Papers. What's your standout here, Stoger? Which of these are you really looking forward
For me, it's a Daredevil book. I'm super excited to finish that. I own those single issues, but I haven't pulled them out and read them. We skipped the end of the Bendis era and moved into the person who's. This is the third time that I've tried to remember their names. Now I have to pull the book down.
Real quick, you're talking about Daredevil, correct? The Daredevil Modern?
Daredevil Modern. Okay. Yeah, Brubaker. Brubaker's after Bendis. I knew it was somebody I was trying to remember, whose name I shouldn't have forgotten. So, yeah, I am looking forward to finishing off the Bendis era. It's got some really great covers of issues in there with sort of like the Ten Commandments themes going along with it. And I mean, one of these days we're gonna have to do a read through and a review. But I think the whole story arc of Bendis's era and what's going on in Matt's head is so well done. I really enjoy, how they handle that and why he's acting the way he's acting.
Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to that. The whenever the X-Men one-shots finish up, we can decide if we want to continue doing whatever Curtis Finley is doing or whether we want to go in our own direction. But that could be a possibility. That could be fun. Fantastic Four is my second favorite comic book, so I'm excited about Fantastic Four 13. I think this is the start of the John Byrne era, which is when that feels, aside from the Stan and Jack stuff, that just feels like the most classic era of Fantastic Four. And then maybe the Tom DeFalco era after that. That was the Tom DeFalco era was the one when I was a kid and I grew up reading, so I really like that time too. So I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Ready for March?
Let's do it.
All right, March, next month. We actually saw all these. Thor Epic Collection number 13, The Surtur War. Punisher Epic number 8, Survival. Ultimate Spider-Man Ultimate Epic Collection number 2, Hunted. Thunderbolts Epic number 4, Redemption. And Avengers Epic 14, Absolute Vision. Right, Stojer?
Avengers for me.
Thor for me on this one. I've already read all of the Thor epics except for the one that is currently on our poll, and the modern ones. I haven't read those yet, but that was what got me into the epics was a desire to go back and read the old stuff with Jack Kirby's art, but with color. I read all those in the essentials, and I kind of was thinking at the time, this must be amazing with the color, and I finally just kind of got that nostalgic desire to go back. And so, yeah, the Thor ones are the ones that got me in here, even though Thor doesn't really rank among my favorite characters. I've read them all, so I want to keep going with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, April. Here we go. ROM Space Knight Epic number 4, the original Marvel years. Black Widow Modern Era Epic number 2, Widowmaker. That's not right. I think that's number 1.
No,
because number 2's out already, isn't it?
No, 3's out, I think.
It's 1 and 3?
It's volume 1 and volume 3. So this is volume 1, and this is volume...
Okay.
Yeah, volume... Sorry, I'm looking at it reversed on my screen, but yeah.
Okay.
This one's 1, and this one's 3.
Okay. Got it. So this is a gap filler for those. Okay.
Yeah.
Then also Ultimate X-Men Ultimate Epic number 2, World Tour, and then Amazing Spider-Man Modern Era Epic number 3, Sins Past. All right, Stozier. Which
I'm going to get, the Spider-Man one is the must-buy for me, even though it's Sins Past. There's other good stuff in there outside of that particular storyline, and I'm getting all the Spider-Man stuff. The Black Widow I'll get when it's cheap, or I can find a deal or whatever. So,
yeah. Gosh, I'd hate to say that the one I'm most excited about is Sins Past because of that storyline, Sins Past. But yes, the rest of it is going to be good stuff. I like the early Ultimate stuff, so I don't know. I'm kind of interested in all of these, to be honest. But yeah, I guess Spider-Man is the one that'll be the standout there. All right, in May of this year, Incredible Hulk Epic number 11, Devolution. New Avengers Modern Era Epic number 4, Secret Invasion. Doctor Doom Epic number 2, Revolution in Latveria. And Micronauts Epic number 5, The New Voyages. All right, Stoger?
So I'm most interested in the de-evolution one. I think that's still during the Sal Buscema era. It's a gap filler, so to speak. I think we have 13 and volume 10. So if my shelf is accurate and up to date, so definitely that's the one I'm most looking forward to. New Avengers I'm also going to get looking forward to, but I almost have that stuff memorized. I've read it so many times in single issues, so more interested in the one I'm getting them both, but I'm more interested in the one that's stuff I haven't read.
Yeah, I am actually kind of on the fence about the other two, Doctor Doom Epic number 2 and Micronauts number 5. I think I'm more interested in Doctor Doom, but a lot of that is still going to be reprints from Fantastic Four. I think that one we start getting. I don't. I would need to look at the contents, and I don't have that on this list here. I think we start getting some of the Tales to Astonish uh, solo stuff of Dooms, and that's where we really start getting some stuff that's separate from the Fantastic Four. I'm not confident about that, though. I'm not certain about that. The Micronauts one, though, wraps up the Micronauts, so we'll have the entirety of the Micronauts and Epic collection for the original Marvel years, anyway, with the exception of the Micronauts X-Men crossover. But I have those in single issues. So excited to have another series wrapped up, I guess, and might make it a point this summer to read through all of those just in kind of one go.
Okay.
All right, here we go. June's a heavy month. We have Amazing Spider-Man Epic number 13, Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut. New X-Men Modern Era Epic number 3, Planet X. Annihilation Modern Era Epic number 3, Conquest Prelude. Amazing Spider-Man Epic number 7, The Goblin's Last Stand, a reprint. I think this is like the third reprint of that one. Iron Man Epic Collection number 19, Crash and Burn. Ultimate Fantastic Four Epic. Ultimate Epic number 2, Frightful, and then X-Men Epic number 14, Mutant Massacre. Boy, there's some good ones this month. Stojr?
Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of them here. So priority order here would be Spider-Man and X-Men, both X-Men books. Look, that's the end of the Grant Morrison crossover, or not crossover, end of him writing that line or that book. So all three of those are high priority for me. And then shortly behind that I'll pick up is the Crash and Burn stuff in Volume 19. Kind of what I was talking about earlier, where that's an era of Iron Man I'm kind of interested in and want to read more about. But if money's tight, I'll wait on that and look for it on sale.
Yeah, I am torn here because I've been wanting Epic Spider-Man Epic Collection number 7 for a long time. That one's been out of print and expensive. Excuse me. And also Goblin's Last Stand. That's the one that has the death of Gwen Stacy. That is a very powerful and important issue. But I've also read that a million times. Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut. That storyline of Spider-Man versus the Juggernaut was one that I read over and over again when I was a kid. I had this like super thin trade that was just those 2 issues in it that I don't know how I got a copy of it, but I love that story. And of course, Epic X-Men Epic number 14 is going to be really good. So that's probably my priority there.
Okay.
All right, a little shorter July here. Deadpool Modern Era Epic number 2, XX Baby. Iron Man Modern Epic number 6, The Future. Star Wars Modern Era Epic number 3, The Screaming Citadel. And Venom Modern Era Epic number 2, Sting of the Scorpion.
The Venom one's the one I'm actually the most interested in. I'm not getting into the Deadpool stuff. That Iron Man Modern Era, maybe because I think I own that in thin trades. I'd have to look at the contents of it, and I don't know if I care enough to upgrade because I have these 2 oversized hardcovers for Matt Fraction and Salvador LaRocca, as well as one thin trade after that. And I think that future that's what the Epic does. It's like the tail end of the thick of the oversized hardcover and goes into that thin trade. But I have to double check that. So yeah, just Venom for me is the one I'm most interested in, and it's actually an era. Like I'm not sure how that reading experience is going to be with like Scorpion as Venom. It's probably going to be jumping around a lot.
So is that what this is covering? Oh, I guess hence the name, Sting of the Scorpion. This is when Matt Gargan's Venom, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the contents off the top of my head, but I would assume, but that I think that it's the beginning of that. Yeah, Eddie Brock's not in the costume right now.
Yeah, I don't really remember much about that era. I remember when Flash Thompson became Venom, that got really good for a while. And it made sense too, but I think for this month, Deadpool Modern Era Epic number 2 is maybe the one I'm most excited about. I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, but I do like when things can get a little silly, and of course Deadpool can. And I've read the other Deadpool epics except for the most recent one that came out. I haven't read that one yet. I think that's Classic Volume 7. So I think just from a standpoint, I've read all the others, then that's probably the one I'm most interested in.
Okay.
All right, for August of 2026, we have ROM, the Space Knight Epic Collection number 5, the original Marvel years, Fantastic Four Epic Collection number 26, Heroes Reborn, Marvel 2-in-1 Epic number 4, Project Pegasus, Amazing Spider-Man Epic number 3, a reprint, This is Spider-Man No More, Spider-Girl Modern Era Epic number 7, Come the Carnage, and Miles Morales Spider-Man Modern Epic number 4, Sitting in a Tree.
So, for me, the top priority here is probably it's a coin toss, and they're not top priorities. Like the top priority of what's here would not be my top priority for the year. So like I could sit back and wait for sales on any of these. It would be Miles Morales and the Marvel 2-in-1. So I have the first 3 complete collections of Miles. So this would be me continuing that into epics and kind of staying on board. But I'm not the biggest fan of all the writers and artists on Miles's like kind of continuation into the Marvel universe. So I'm not sure that I would jump on that one. But the Marvel 2-in-1, I hear good things about the Project Pegasus storyline, and I do own the first 3 of those. So again, this is about continuing something I already have. But no, I'm not super excited about either of them. The Fantastic Four one, I already own the trade of the Heroes Reborn, so I don't know that I would need to rebuy that. I don't know that it's different enough than what I already have.
Yeah. To that point, I already have Spider-Man Epic number 3, so I don't need the reprint. But I'm glad it's coming out for those who need it. Miles Morales, I did not like it when they brought Miles into the 616 universe. I thought he worked better in a separate universe. So just trying to collapse the Ultimate Universe and bring them all into 616, I did not like that. But it's too late. It's already done. So
well, and that is literally, I think, the first one of him in the 616, if I remember correctly, because the last trade ends with the Here's Reborn stuff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So Marvel 2-in-1 Epic number 4 Project Pegasus. I remember reading that storyline in the Essentials, and it was like 2-in-1 was okay. I really liked the Thing, but it was kind of dragging. And then suddenly I realized, wait, this is getting really good. And it was the Project Pegasus storyline. So I'm excited to get that and to have it in color. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Okay.
All right, September, big September here. Iron Man Epic number 8, Demon in a Bottle. Ultimates Epic number 2, Gods and Monsters. Amazing Spider-Man Modern Era Epic number 15, Spider Island. Carnage Modern Era Epic number 2, Prophecy of the Darkhold. Wolverine Epic number 5, Valley of Death. X-Men Epic number 21, Executioner Song, a reprint of that one. Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, Modern Era Epic number 4, Into the Gwenverse. And then Venom Epic number 8, Shadows of the Past.
So I'm excited the most about Wolverine and Spider-Man. Definitely buying those two. Venom, I'm somewhat interested in, and that's sort of like the next tier for me. I'm going to get it, but as well as Iron Man. Interested in that era, and I've been getting a lot of the Iron Man stuff to flesh out that stuff. So those two are kind of the middle tier for me, and then the bottom tier of like I'm gonna get, but I can wait a little bit would be the Carnage one. I'm not getting Spider-Gwen, and I'm not rebuying the Ultimates again, so I'm good there.
Yeah. I think for this one, Iron Man Epic number 8, call me a normie if you want, but that storyline of Tony dealing with his alcoholism, I'm fairly certain I read those in the Essentials, but it's been a while. I don't fully remember, so I'd be interested in dipping back into that.
Yeah, I have the I must have put it somewhere else, but I have like the Marvel had those like premiere hardcovers. They were this is a Stephen King book, but like it's this format where it's kind of like premium hardcover, like some gold lettering, things like that. So I have the Demon in the Bottle version of that, but it only covers like those exact issues. This obviously has a lot more.
Mm-hmm. All right, into October of 2026, Blade Epic number 1. His name is Blade. I hope I put a good enough pause there. Excalibur Epic number 6, The Douglock Chronicles, Captain America Modern Era Epic number 4, Reborn, Ghost Rider Epic number 4, To Slay a Demon, Moon Knight Epic number 8, The Resurrection War, and Aliens Epic number 4, The Original Years.
For me, it's Excalibur. That's a huge gap filler. Right above my head here would be all the Excalibur books. I have some of the Warren Ellis books. So with this, I think I'd only be missing a couple issues. Like I wouldn't even need to wait for the final Excalibur Epic collection. So that one, it's a huge gap filler for me. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one. I think I might put Blade number 1 as my most interested, mostly because it's the first volume. I like starting from the beginning of these things, and we've had the second volume for so long. So give me the first one so I can start there, get into the second one, and yeah, I'm interested in others, but I think maybe I'm kind of more excited on that one. All right, let's go to November. Hulk Modern Era Epic number 8, Fall of the Hulks. Star Wars Darth Vader Modern Era Epic number 3, The Chosen One. Thor Modern Era Epic number 4, Fear Itself. Generation X Epic number 6, Counter X. X Factor Epic number 2, The Morlock Massacre. And then Captain America Epic number 8, The Lazarus Conspiracy.
X Factor is the one I'm the most excited about and interested in. Generation X is a close second because that rounds out the line that finishes Generation X. So with there'll be 6 of those in total. I'm just starting some Captain America stuff, so I might get that eventually. And with the Thor, I have that in Omni, so I don't need that. So I'm not getting any of the Thor moderns. And the Hulk moderns, I have them in thin trades. Now I don't have everything, so eventually, if I have the money, I'll rebuy that and upgrade from the thin trades to the epics. But I'm in no rush because I already have the stories on my shelf, so there's kind of I'm not missing out on the most of it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the top 2 here. X Factor number 2, that's my number 1. I like the early X Factor. I like what happens with X Factor, so I'm excited about that. And then to wrap up Generation X, that'll be interesting. I haven't read anything but the earliest Generation X, and I read that when it came out, so I need a refresher on all of that. All right, rounding out the year, December 2026. Give me a moment here. When I start talking long enough, the voice starts going and I start coughing. My apologies. Okay, so we have All New Wolverine Modern Era Epic number 2, Orphans of X, Guardians of the Galaxy Modern Era Epic number 3, Annihilators, Amazing Spider-Man Epic number 29, The Mark of Cain, Avengers West Coast Epic number 8, Terminated, Daredevil Epic number 9, Resurrection, Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Epic number 2, Bad to the Bone, She-Hulk Epic number 5, Interrupted Melody, and then X-Force Epic number 5, Starting Over.
This is another big month. So for me, it's Spider-Man, Avengers, Daredevil, and X-Force. So 4 sort of must-buy books. Avengers West Coast appears like it'll close out the line. So that's huge. Daredevil continues the blanking on his name.
Frank Miller.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just complete. Not enough coffee this morning. Continues the Frank Miller run. X-Force is, I was a mildly supportive X-Force fan during this time. I enjoyed this stuff, so I like fleshing all this out. We're continuing the Clone Saga with number 29 of Amazing Spider-Man. So all of this, those 4 are pretty easy buys for me. What about you?
I think with this group here, I mean, obviously I'm getting them all, but Daredevil Epic number 9, the second one in the Frank Miller run, I think I'll be most interested in that. I really enjoyed Volume 8, so it'll be cool to see where that goes. Spider-Man's my favorite, but that's getting into the Clone Saga, and Stojr, I've already told you that caused me to drop out of comics for a while, so I'll get it, I'll read it, and maybe it'll be better knowing now that I know what happens, and I'm not going to be so mad that they're replacing Peter Parker. Maybe it won't be so bad. But
They should have just split it into two sets of two books and just kept them both around. They could have had their cake and eat it too. They could have had Ben Reilly who was dating and gave you the young Spider-Man, and they could have had the dad Spider-Man kind of married with a kid and had Peter doing that. So
sure,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah, they messed that up in so many different ways, but that's been talked about plenty of times. All right, so that is the Epic collections in 2026. Stojer, we've been going for about an hour, so we had one more thing we planned on doing, and that was talking about our choices for the Epic reprint poll. Do you want to get into that? Do you have time for that, or do you think we need to wrap this up?
We could not draw it out. We could do it pretty quick if you think so.
Sure, I'm down with that. So we'll start with you, Stojer. So anyone who's unaware, and I imagine if you're listening and watching to us that you are aware, because I'm sure you found us via probably through Curtis Finley, who teams up with Omar from Near Mint Condition to do these things. But they hold an annual reprint poll where they poll the audience, the people who actually read these things, of what should Marvel reprint. And Omar has some connections where he can get that list to the people who choose the reprints. So of all the ones that are out of print, you can pick your top 5 in order. Stojer, we're going to start with you. Whoops, I lost it. Where'd my cursor go? Oh my god. Okay, it's a good show. I know what I'm doing. Stojer, here is what you gave me as the books you chose for your reprints.
Yeah, so mine are somewhat alphabetical order because I was too lazy to kind of go back and restack rank everything, because the list is so long and the way the web page looks on my phone when I did this. So I actually gave them some. I was interested in see if I'm the only lazy one, and I posted something to ask if they noticed that the higher number choices are also the first alphabetically, and if that there should be some way to kind of rethink the format of the poll for that. But for me, these are two Daredevil epics that are really hard to find. They go for a lot of money. I think I'm bidding on Widow's Kiss right now, and it's at a reasonable price. But I was also bidding on Purgatory and Paradise, and it's already above $70 or $80, and somebody was bragging that they picked this up for $120 on Facebook recently. So that is costing a bunch of money there. Ghost of the Past is one of the ones that I need for Hulk. It's not the only one. So that's what I was trying to pick up there. War Games has some JRJR art, and it is another hard to find epic. And then Thor: Fall of Asgard. Thor Volume 5 and 6 are like impossible to find. And I've considered getting the Omnis just to fill that gap. But that's where my head's at for these. What about you? What'd you pick?
For yours, I completely agree with you on Thor Volume 5. I did pick that up. I paid too much money for it. But I'm looking for that Iron Man and the Daredevil number 20 as well. So for me, here is the method to my madness. These reprints are likely going to come in 2027, is my thought here. So I decide that I'm not going to vote for the series that I'm focusing on getting soon. So my current focus is Avengers, Defenders, and Daredevil. All right, those are the 3 volumes I'm looking for. So I decided from there, I'm likely going to buy the ones I'm missing for those books in this year. So I decided to vote for the oldest volumes that have not yet received a reprint that I'm still looking for outside of those 3 lines. So that meant my first priority was Iron Man number 16, same that you had there, Stojer. We haven't gotten one of those since 2014. Captain America number 12, again, was last printed in 2014. Iron Man number 11, which last came out 10 years ago in 2016. Captain America 22, again, 10-year-old book. And then Punisher number 3. And I don't have the titles of what those are on there, but that was my reasoning.
Nice. Good, solid choices. I like it. I like the method.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's all we have. Stojer, did you want to do one more of those while we're kind of live and on the air of the little thing that we're playing with for some shorts in the future?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so here is the idea. I'm going to switch scenes here, and then we'll kind of wrap up with this. we've started releasing some of our videos on YouTube Shorts, and they've been bringing an audience in, and we appreciate that. So we decided to mix some things up and do a couple little exclusive stuff for Shorts. And whether we continue with this or not, who knows, we'll see. But the idea here is I've got a little tin, and inside of it are a bunch of little slips of paper that have things for us to compare. The question is, which is better, X or Y, right? So I'm going to pull, I have 100 of these in here, and if we ever run through 100, we can come up with 100 more. Most are comic related, some are not. So I'm going to pull one of these out. We're going to have a minute to discuss which of these two things are better. And you'll see there's a little timer there right next to my tin. All right, Stojr, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, which is better? Number 46. Number 49. Marvel Team Up or Marvel 2-in-1?
All right, so that's a tough one for me because I don't have a ton of these. I have the Marvel 2-in-1 stuff, and the Marvel 2-in-1 seems to be mostly like the Thing and somebody else, whereas Marvel Team Up is Spider-Man and somebody else. So I'm going to say that the Marvel Team Up is better because it has Spider-Man, even though I have a lot less of it, and I don't own that stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat there as you. These are kind of two of my favorite characters. Spider-Man and then the Thing is probably right after that. So it is hard for me. And there are parts of Marvel 2-in-1 which are excellent, like the Pegasus. The Pegasus project that we talked about earlier in our Fanfare episode. But can't go wrong with Spider-Man. Although sometimes those Spider-Man stories are a little lazy, they're not necessarily all that good, but I think I'm going with Marvel Team Up.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's the annoying alarm to stop. Okay, so that's just kind of a little taste of what that is going to be about, and we'll probably put that on, probably make that a short as well. But otherwise, I think that is all we've got. Stojr, any final thoughts? Any things to consider?
No, I'm looking forward to some of our review meetings. I also saw as we were on this podcast, somebody posted a whole long list of thick trades that they're selling in the Facebook group.
Oh no!
So the Onslaught Road to Onslaught books are available at least as the time of posting. So I was slightly distracted as I saw that on my periphery there. Looking forward to doing more of these, and we got the Hulk that we're reviewing next.
I don't have my copy with me. Oh wait, I do have my copy with me. Yeah, in 2 weeks' time, I probably should have put the schedule up here, but I've got the schedule posted on YouTube and on my Blue Sky. But yeah, the Curing of Dr. Banner, that's going to be in 2 weeks' time. I want to say that's maybe March 8th. It's Sunday.
Sounds about right.
The schedule is up there on YouTube. You can find it. But if you guys enjoy what we do, follow us, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And we'll be back, with the X-Men one-shots daily, and with this show in a month, and with the Hulk one in 2 weeks. All right, that's it. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you again next time.